everybody. It's the Old Bear from the Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot. We're starting our cookout this evening for everybody. We're going to take a little video from it, and then later we're going to sit around and tell each other Bigfoot stories. I figured to take a few pictures of you and get some of the people that are here waiting on the food to get done. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll do it all again in a little while. If somebody don't burn all the burgers up.
His mother's out. Wayne had to have the one that had over 80%. It's got more fat in it.
Because your life is precious. And unlike other tech companies,
Let's see if he gets the fire out. That's what gives them taste.
Mine's all taken care of years ago.
These are some of the people that showed up. Of course, you're out here BSing each other today, but we'll get to stories a little bit later. And we're going to combine all this together in one, and then tomorrow's service and everything will be on a separate one, and then one after that when we do the 3 presentations from the channels. And I hope y'all enjoy this. You're missing out. Should have came. A.m. I will be holding a church service here at our camper. Everybody's welcome to come. I don't care what denomination you are. I don't care if you're atheist. If you want to come and listen, come and listen. My better half is going to sing a couple of songs. She has a very good voice. And come and listen to her. You don't have to listen to me, you can listen to her. But if you do come, I ask you to come whatever, dressed however you choose.
Except the Speedo.
Joe, if you show up in a Speedo, no. You show up in a Speedo in the morning, I'm going to give you a pair of my pants and we're going to pull them up to your eyeball.
No, that one behind you is the one that does speedo.
I wear a banana hammock.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But seriously, we're going to have church service at 10 o'clock. You're more than welcome to come and listen to the Word of God and listen to my wife sing. She's going to sing probably a couple of old hymns. Come and listen to her. And then probably about 11:30, we're going to break off, end the service. And after the service is over, we'll give you a half-hour break. Come back at noon. Because at noon, you're going to have to look at the twins in their Speedos. Minimal Research give a presentation for 45 minutes.
I don't know if we got 45 minutes for us, buddy.
You got 45 minutes whether you got it or not.
We might just break it down to 30 and give you an hour. How about that?
Oh man, don't do me that way. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a 15-minute break between Minimal Research and the Squatch and Cowboy. He gets his 45 minutes and another 15-minute break. And if Kenny wants to talk, which I know whenever Cowboy gets up and starts talking, he monopolizes the time. Kenny don't get to speak at all. We'll hog tie him and gag him if you need be.
I got rope and tape.
We got it. We got you covered, buddy. Don't worry.
I work a full-time job, he don't, so I go, but he has way much more time in the field than I do. That's why I wish I had more time and more stories.
No, hold on. We ain't got for a full-time. They get their show.
We haven't in a while.
Don't be bashful.
No, you guys are just keeping that last episode up there, you know, letting it marinate.
But after Cowboy's done and Kenny has his time in that 45 minutes, you get a 15-minute break. You go to the restroom, go get you something to drink. 15 minutes later, it's me. I get it back clean up. And my presentation will be whatever you need to know. I'll answer your questions. Bring all the questions you want. I'll answer them all. After I'm done, give us about 15, 20 minutes. All of us are going to be here. Be right here in this area. If you want to go and relay a story to one of the channels and you want to put it out there on YouTube, feel free to. If you don't want to be seen on YouTube, but you want to be heard, we can handle that.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know beforehand or you'll be on YouTube and you may not be happy with it. So if you don't want to be on YouTube, please let every channel you go to, I don't care if it's Cowboy, Manimal, or me. Tell me you don't want to be on YouTube, you're not going to be on it.
I don't want to be on YouTube.
Too late.
Too bad, man. But bring us your stories so we can put them out there. So people will know about Bigfoot. I know there's real people behind the research that's been going on, because you ain't going to get a scientist that sits in a lab or at a college and go out and do no research. We are the feet on the ground. We do the work. Those yahoos take all the credit, and we're doing the work. It's time for us to let people know that we are the boots on the ground. We are the ones that's doing all the hard work. And that's why we wanted to have this get together, this Squatch out. From 3 different states. Joe comes from Texas, Manimal's from here in Tennessee, and I'm from West Virginia. But we want to put y'all out there. Y'all are the ones that's doing all the work. We want to put y'all's account out, not ours. And if you got questions about Bigfoot or you got issues with Bigfoot, come to one of us. If those 3 guys can't answer the question, come to me. And if it's something that's an aggressive Bigfoot and you got trouble with it, come to me. I know of ways to get these creatures to stay away. And I know of ways that you don't have to harm them. But it sure does scare the living daylights out of them. And they don't hang around. But if you got questions or you need help, come to us and let us know. One of us will get you the help you need. Whether that's us showing up and taking care of the issue, or if it's something simple that you didn't know you were doing. And they got aggressive because of it. Let us know. We can help. So that's the announcement. I hope to see every one of you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I hope to. If I see one face and they come up here and they listen to the Word of God and they go to Christ, my job's done as a minister. So come up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll have a small service and enjoy it, and then come back at noon. And we'll get to the meat of the subject. I hope you all come.
Hey, Richard, Mike, what's the sermon going about in the morning?
Well, you'll have to come and find out.
In other words, ain't decided yet.
No, in other words, I know what sermon I'm got. Well, I'll put it this way. It concerns Moses and Aaron. There's 2 books you got to read to get up on it.
I'm interested.
We'll come in the morning and find out all the details.
I'm very interested.
So,
You always gotta have your back to you over here.
I understand that.
Hey, Pastor, what you doing? I had to throw that in. Sorry, I'm Southern Baptist. I had to do that.
You're fine. So, if anybody's got a question or a Bigfoot story they want to relay, speak up and talk about it. Go right ahead, bud.
I was out on a field for Manimal. I think it was in February, wasn't it, that day? And it was down in Helen, Georgia. It was actually Kenny who told us where to go, the spot to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, try to speak up.
Speak up. Yeah, stand up. You can speak a little bit louder.
well, it snowed like the dickens. I mean, my tent turned into an igloo real quick that.
I understand.
But so we didn't have much activity at first. So I thought in my head, okay, this used to be Cherokee land. What if I play the Cherokee drum music like they do when they're having a powwow, and see if that may bring them in, because they might still tell a story, to each other about them. That next morning, I'm cooking breakfast. My girlfriend stands up, looks shocked, and points. And there's a Bigfoot watching me cook our breakfast. I offered to come on down, I'd fix the plate.
They'll do that. We are their entertainment.
Yeah.
You got to remember that.
Well, that was my first actual seeing one.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was way before then,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still an awe-inspiring moment actually seeing one. That thing had to be about, it was good, but it's about 10 foot, broad on the shoulder, about like that. Dark colored hair. I couldn't, it was up on a ridge, so.
Mm-hmm.
There's supposed to be uphill there, but they didn't make, I think, Jasper, I think, had to work. He was supposed to be there. Other guy had to work. So it was just me and my girlfriend.
Well, let me ask you a question, young lady. Since when you looked up and pointed at that, what was your reaction? What were you feeling at that point in time? Shock? Just shock. You weren't afraid or felt that you had, maybe you needed to leave or anything of that nature? That's good.
Now it was zapped us with the infrasound. We got sick as dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we also did do a gifting. We had steaks. So I had some leftover steak meat,
Mm-hmm.
and we had s'mores for dessert. So all that's the stuff you used to make s'mores. I put it out there the next morning. Only thing gone was the chocolate.
They have a sweet tooth. There's been a bunch of reports that I've gotten from other researchers and from people that's got kids and they drop a chocolate bar in their yard. Go out next morning, the chocolate bar is gone. So, I mean, that's just something that, they like chocolate. They have a sweet tooth.
Should have brought me some chocolate bars. Left them out here this time for them.
Anyone else got an account of a Bigfoot, or you've seen them, or you've heard them, or anything?
I have a handful. I'm Connor from Bigfoot Anonymous.
It's going to take a while, folks.
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio,
Hang on, let me get it.
where the Ohio Grassman is well known, guys.
Yes!
And when I was 12 years old, I was sleeping over at my buddy Alex's house, and a couple months before that, he had an encounter with my buddy Jake. They were being driven home by a fireman, and they saw something cross the road that resembled a deer, but it was walking on two legs, and they thought it was a werewolf. They always called it the Wolfman of Sleepy Hollow. and heard that for months. And then we had golf on Saturday. So we were sleeping over at Alex's house on Friday, and we heard lots of stories from his mom too, saying that she heard man-like owl calls coming from the window, and she's really by the book, of course. But we're down in his basement shooting pool. He's got a huge walkout doors, completely glass. And after a while, we just felt something inside. I had Alex and Jake write their encounter from my first book, and they described it as rumbling and rustling outside, where I don't think we actually heard anything physically outside. I think it was more like internal, them letting us know. We end up turning the lights off and peeking through this small window, and we see this hulking figure down in like a cave cliff area, and we always called it the dog man, or the wolf man. But now everybody's going crazy with the dog man craze. But now I'm looking farther into it, and the Gugway, of course, is a Sasquatch that has like the snout, so it could very well be one of those, or the Janoska creatures. But it was the Wolfman of Sleepy Hollow, and it was just chilling. And after that, we dove into the stairway for a few minutes, and then we looked back out. It was gone, and after a few hours, we tried to sleep, and we just couldn't do it. We had to go all the way upstairs, and that's when it actually became a big thing with his parents, and the whole event kind of came full circle. And she told us a little bit more about weird noises and just strange stuff in the woods all the time. And then that really got the ball rolling. Then I grew up a little bit older and started, camping and messing around with like potions and psychedelics, and going under the blood moon and doing a lot of fun, crazy stuff. And then when I moved down to Florida, I live right by Torreya State Park, where Stacey Brown recorded that 9-footer. And then I also live right by the Ocheesee Pond, where one was captured in the 1800s. And it was taken to the Chattahoochee Hospital, kept there for 3 years. The governor knew about it. It was on the front page of the New York Times. And still nowadays, channels are like, we need a body. The body's already been recovered. They had a file on it. It's all been done. So I'm just trying to reignite the history that's already been laid upon us. I've narrated hundreds of articles about mound builder excavations, and there was so many giants, skeletons, especially here in Tennessee. There was so many excavations through the state, and over by the Etowah mounds, there was giant bones found. And where I'm from in Ohio, there's more than 10,000 mounds. The serpent mounds, the mounds over in Moundsville, they have excavated giant skeletons out of. So our ancestors were these creatures, and then it gets really weird with frogman, dogman, mothman. But it all comes back to Ohio, and a lot of us are Buckeye Pride here, and I think it shapes us. And even the Cleveland Browns, it's an elf. The Brownies are a type of elf. So the New York Giants, Tennessee Titans, it's all right in our face. The Lake Erie Monsters, it's right in front of our face. Like literally, Godzilla came out this year, and they were talking about the Dome and Middle Earth and Antarctica monsters. They released these movies on purpose, on a schedule. And of course, it mentioned that Pensacola is the apex. Well, there's stories of the Pensacola serpent and other stories of the Mississippi monsters coming out. So I think all these movies and movies and books have roots to reality. And then, these TV shows, they're running around, hooting and hollering. I have friends that found DNA on multiple occasions, and we got these shows saying nothing's ever been discovered. So, like old Bear's Den saying, we're on the ground, we're here. I don't see any of them even making a sniff for any of these conferences or get-togethers. So it starts with us, and we have to have that attitude. And I'm not looking to Meldrum and these other people for answers. I definitely support, of course, but we are equal. We are equal to them, and the Sasquatch people definitely know they can read vibes. So keep it good in your heart. Don't follow any disembodied voices. Missing 401 is clearly a thing. Sasquatch has killed people in the past, abducted people, but there is positive ones too. There's a great story in Ocala. This little girl had a compound fracture in her leg. She was gonna bleed out, probably die. This orangutan lady dropped her off at the camp, and all the counselors had no explanation. She wasn't there, and then she's there, and she clearly couldn't walk. So there's mysteries that surround us. We spell words, we write in cursive. We leave our tooth under the pillow for the tooth fairy. We tell fairy tales like the Fae, gremlins, aliens, but aliens are extraterrestrials. They're not coming from light years away. They're coming from extra terra, extra land, all the other continents. 400 miles away, you know? I suggest everybody look at like Admiral Byrd. He won the Medal of Honor. He found lands beyond the poles, full of luscious jungles. So there's other continents in this world, and mud fossils used to exist, and all the Bible stories were true, you know, and St. Christopher carried baby Jesus across a raging, freezing river. So when people ask me who's your favorite Sasquatcher, I say Jesus Christ, of course. And then you look at Cain, the marked one. Joseph Smith found Cain in the 1800s and started a dang religion about it, the Mormon religion, and it's the golden tablets, and in the Minerva monster, he's going after the French gold. So I think there's something to do with these precious gems, these sacred creatures, and then stained soil, of course. And I'm just trying to be the spear and the loud mouth. You know, it's nice to be in here in person, of course, because on the web everything gets twisted and turned, but we're here on the ground and we're trying to follow our soul, represent God and the Creator, and I'm trying to find the bridge to the Creator, and that's what my whole thing is. And I take this very serious, and I do a lot of research, and of course a lot of the area gets gray because that's how it has to, because the Native Americans, they were doing psychedelics and touching God in the sky. So the only way I can get close to that is tapping into that frequency. And so I'm definitely outside the norm, but there has to be a few of us in that crew to push things forward. So I definitely appreciate you know, you guys even supporting and hearing me out, but it's what I do, y'all do. What y'all do, I do. It's brotherhood and, you know, community. And I got time for the community. I don't have time for these gatekeepers, you know, trying to divide and conquer, man. I got nothing for it. So it's nice to share these kind of nights and these kind of experiences. And then, you know, I'm looking for cryptic creatures, but I find cool friends. So it's all about the journey, guys. And I'm very grateful, and just everything happens for a reason. Thanks for hosting it, guys. And not canceling, because a lot of these festivals are cowards and bending over, and it's sickening and it's sad. And guys, they're still hosting, you know, Walmart and high school football and dances. We gotta start acting like real life, you know, and that's what we're doing. We're outside, breathing it in. That's where it starts. So we're all on the right path. Keep pushing forward, guys. And you got a loud mouth on your team. And I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just trying to open doors, and I'm also trying to strengthen the people that are on to some of the same stuff that I'm on. Because even me, man, I do a lot of research, and I'm confident in this, and this world still breaks you down to question yourself and everything. So it's nice when you can have another fellow human being and soul there. Coincidence is the only thing that never exists. Energy is never created nor destroyed. We've always been since the very beginning, you know? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The heavens are real. It's not a metaphor. It's a physical place, and that's what pushes me.
Thanks for sharing there.
Thanks, guys.
Anyone else have an account of a Bigfoot that they've seen or had dealings with?
I know it is.
I can see.
Tristan, let everybody know your story. I gotta throw my homies to the wolves.
Well, this actually happened probably 4 or 5 years ago around Chipley, Florida. Right around the hometown I grew up in, went to high school and everything. Well, he lived in a trailer park not too far outside of Chipley, more towards Condell. Well, we were walking down his road one day, like in the middle of the night, just, you know, mind our own business, whatever, just having fun, I guess. But there was a little point, once you get farther down the road, where the trees create like a little abyss, like how you can look out there and you see pretty much nothing, it's just pitch black. You know, us being kids, just wandering, doing whatever, we weren't really expecting to, you know, see anything or have any view of, you know, anything out there. Maybe like a rabbit, maybe like a wolf or a coyote or something like that, I don't know. But we seen two pair of yellow eyes, like a pair of yellow eyes, like in the middle of the road, probably about 3 foot off the ground. You know, and I'm thinking maybe I'm tripping. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know. You know, I didn't know if he seen it, so I didn't say nothing. But, you know, we both freeze and stop and look for about a second. And within probably less than 2 seconds, these eyes go from 3 foot off the ground to like 11, 12 foot off the ground. Like just from here to here in a matter of like that. And I'm like, what is this? Like, absolutely baffled by the situation. Like, I'm not scared, I'm just shocked. You know, and there was no sound whatsoever, so like, you know, I couldn't hear a shift, nothing. And then I did hear like a shite like that noise, but that was just, you know, my brother just taking off, because he's seen exactly what I seen. You know, and he's a lot shorter than me, and he was a lot skinnier than me at the time, so he just said, I'm out. You know, and like by the time I turned around, I didn't even look back, I just took off too. We kept running to maybe like a half mile back to his house, and we just looked at each other and was like, whatever was back there, it didn't come after us, no hard feelings, mind our own business, we're out here.
So basically, his attitude was, the only thing I got to do is outrun you.
Yeah.
To keep from this thing getting me.
Yeah, he didn't give me a warning or nothing, man. I was just like, oh, he's gone.
Hey, that happens. You know, everybody, you see something like that in an area like that where it's dark and you can't tell what kind of form you're looking at.
Oh, yeah.
It does scare you to death.
Yeah, and he knows my brother Cameron, and he's a scaredy cat, man. He'll turn and run.
He is.
Which I didn't know what to think. I was like, you know, it's not trying to attack us or nothing, so.
I have Cam's words right here. He said, we turned around, it was like half a football field away from us, but it looked like it was crouched because we watched long enough for it to stand up like a big bear, except it had yellow eyes. I took off, leaving T after I said it was time to go. Followed, then we suddenly appeared back at the house. And then he said, sorry it took so long. T and I went to our little cousin's birthday, the one who got chased by a six-legged spider fairy pixie thing. So yeah, what happened with the pixie thing? You guys got gremlins and fairies?
My uncle actually told me the story. This is the same exact trailer park that we had this experience with, but that was probably down the road. This happened probably about a month ago, actually, because I started working with my uncle in my new job. But he told me, I think my cousin, about 6 years old, he's 7 now, but so it was a couple months ago, that they were just outside, you know, cutting the grass, working on the yard,
9
stuff
o'clock
like that.
this morning, asked her.
And
She was ready.
my cousin
She said,
ran
"I'm ready
around the
to
house
start
with
washing
like
clothes."
a foot-tall creature, like following him. And my uncle described it as something he's never seen before, not even an insect he's ever seen before. And my uncle, he's pretty out there, but I wouldn't, you know, take it to him to say this is really weird.
We'll be back in the
He
morning.
said it had a small body, a big head, and had 6 legs. But it was like chasing my cousin,
We're going up to.
but not like a want to harm you chase you, but like a bouncing around, playful kind of chase.
We'll see you in the
And
morning.
my cousin was even like, what is this? Like, what, like, get it away from me, I don't know what this is. My uncle's like, I don't know, just like leave it, let it chase you. It's not trying to harm you, so wait till it leaves you alone, whatever it is. And he said that it ended up just disappearing. Like he hadn't seen it since then, but, you know, it's weird. Definitely seeing something that you've never seen before.
Let it chase you. No.
Yeah, my cousin, he'll even tell you, he's like, and he's pretty crazy too. He's a crazy kid, but
That
he
area
even
is well
says
known
like,
for
whoa.
sinkholes too, so who knows what's down there, you know, cave crawlers, kind of creatures like Gollum, you know, like, or movies like The Descent, those weird prowler, blind, bioluminescent creatures. I definitely think they're in the caves, and they definitely show up in mines as well.
What about the movie The Cave?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I got really just one question. What is the first thing you should do in a hostile situation?
Hostile with what creature?
A Sasquatch, just in general.
First thing you should do for a hostile interaction with a Bigfoot, you don't run. You stand upright, stick your chest out, and you don't back down. If you back down, if you turn to run, you're done for. They can outrun you. They can catch you. They can rip your head off and dismember you in less than a minute. So don't back down from it. Stand your ground. If they charge you, most of the time when they charge you, because I've been charged quite a bit, because I was always the one that pushed the envelope and got too close to their bedding area or their, a nursery or something of that nature. And I've been charged quite a bit because of it. But never back down.
Most of them
Stand
are
as
bluff
tall as you
charges.
can.
They're most of the time tested.
Most of the time, unless it's the alpha male. If it's the alpha male, he don't bluff.
Yeah, he's coming.
He's coming.
Make sure you change your shorts afterwards.
Well, no. If you have to clean your shorts afterwards, you don't have to worry about it. Because if you have to clean your shorts, I got bad news for you. He's got you. So stand upright, stand as tall as you can, put your chest out, and if he starts growling, growl back at him.
Show no fear.
Show no fear, intimidate him. Because they can be intimidated. They have a natural fear of us because they know that we carry guns. You got a cell phone. Everybody's got a cell phone. And you're out in the woods and one wants to intimidate you, pull your cell phone out, stick it at them like a gun. You want to see how fast one will run? Do that. They don't like
The word
guns.
of God is pretty powerful against these creatures too. A lot of people.
Yes.
I like that.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, but why are they? Why does the Word of God run them off?
Well,
Well, why does the word of God run devil off?
I understand why it runs the devil off.
Powerful. It's a powerful
well,
phrase.
you have to remember these creatures were not created by God. They're not a creation that was made at the beginning of time. And in 7 days, the Bible says in 6 days God created everything on heaven and earth. Problem is, nobody understands his 6 days, not ours. His day could be millions of years long. Because he didn't inhabit the earth. He didn't sit here on the earth and create everything in the universe. He was out in space, what we call space, creating everything. So the reason they're afraid of it is because of the power of God in his word. Everything on this earth has to bow to his word. We have to bow to it. We may not act like we have to bow to it right now, but on the final day of judgment, everyone will be on a knee, whether they want to or not. Atheists, I don't care if you're atheist, I don't care what religion you follow, you will bow a knee in front of Christ. You will see your entire life. You will see every sin you've got. And every creature that was on this earth, whether it's made by man, by demons, or by anything else, genetic manipulation, anything. When Christ speaks the word in the valley of Gitmo, it's gone. That fast. When that happens, these creatures will be gone. They know about God. They've heard when the white man came to this country, we brought God with us. The people that came here from Europe, Asia, were God-fearing people. We feared God. Today we don't. So on that final judgment day, everything will fear him. And it's not fear like we get if we see a Bigfoot. It's fear because at that point you will know and understand that he can destroy these bodies and your soul. That's the fear that he has. And these creatures know that. They don't have a soul.
Do you think some of them have spirit?
None of them are not, they're not like
Not
us.
made by God.
The only creation that has a spirit that God created was mankind. Because we're supposed to be in his image. And that's the one creature that has been since the beginning of time, since the beginning of man. that he had given a soul to. Everything else is soulless.
So where do you think they came from? Satan?
My personal opinion is, plain and simply, everybody knows that the female part of DNA of the Sasquatch, it's been researched, it's been done. Melba Ketchum come out with the truth about it. Other scientists have tried to discredit her for years. She did all the studies on their DNA. There's human DNA in there, female human DNA. There's animal DNA in it. There's a third part of that DNA that they say they don't know what it is. They know. The third part, in my estimation, and the research that I've done over 30 years, is they are a offspring of fallen angels. And because of that, hold on. I'm about ready to die over here. Because of their third part of their DNA, they have immense size, 7, 8, 9 feet, 10, 11, 12, up to 16 feet is what I've heard. And they're from credible people that have seen them. The one I got a 16-foot report from was a guy that seen him take a bull moose by the antlers, grab it by the antlers and twist, and break the antlers off the bull moose in the fall. They're solid. How much strength would that take?
A lot.
So they get their immense strength through the fallen angel. They get their size through the fallen angel. Because an angel is not our size. They're bigger than us. They're stronger than us. They can't do anything. They're subject to us because God has placed us below Him. So they have all this. And over the thousands of years, they have become a feral animal. They don't have our society. And in our society, we look at people that go out and commit crime, go out and steal from someone, go out and injure someone, we put them in jail. It don't happen like that in the Bigfoot world. You do something wrong, that alpha male will either do one of two things to you. He will punish you and possibly banish you from the plane, or he'll kill you outright. There's no second guessing, there's no trial. His word is final. First and foremost, he is the law. And if you injure a human being, knowingly injure a human being, that bitch is done. Because it brings trouble to those lands. Because it brings us with guns. And they don't want that. They know we'll kill all. And they don't want their young, and they don't want their females dead. They don't want their children dead. But they understand that we have guns and we will go and hunt them down. And that's the fear they have of us. And it's only because of us knowing, having the technology and the know-how to create a gun, something that can harm them from a distance. Because remember, they don't have that. They have to get close in to hurt you or to kill you. So that's my belief on Bigfoot.
I've seen a lot of theories that say that angel DNA could cure basically any problem we ever had on Earth. So you got to think the government has the DNA. And I've seen it, what it looks like. It's just like perfect DNA, of course. But it's kind of scary thinking the fallen angels, you know, they did have certain powers, and then they landed right on Mount Hermon, which is the logo for Paramount Pictures. So literally every movie put out by Paramount Pictures is promoted by the fallen angels, which is, I don't know, it's clear as day to some of us, but then, you know, most of society just falls right into that trap. Sad.
But anybody else want to tell of a sighting? Got questions? Feel free to ask. Like I said earlier, guys, you don't have to ask me. These other channels that are here, they're smart. They got a lot of information for you. I've just been doing it a lot longer than everybody else. Because I got started when I was 16 years old, and having a sighting at 16 is something that's 8 foot tall, and you never as a child knew they were there. It kept me from hunting for quite a while. If it wouldn't have been for my brothers and my dad, I never would have been hunting again.
Are you surprised Fox didn't kill Blackie over at the Carter farm? He should have.
That might be a Garrett question.
Yeah. I wish she was here. I'm gonna call her work tomorrow and complain.
Well, I've been in touch with her, and she's been working a lot because there's nobody's there to work.
Nobody wants to work right now.
And the boss was out, got sick, so she had to take over and was doing everything. So she wasn't able to do it. That would be, I'd say that would be a good Janice question.
She would be kind of serious.
I do have a question about the fallen angels. As a Christian,
Good.
as enthusiastic as I am about finding out all this information, one of the things that makes me a little nervous is that in the culture, we've all got these logos of the Sasquatch on our vehicles, put it on our clothing and things like this. And I wonder, is that really a good idea? Because as we learn, as we grow as Christians, we find out that really it's about giving permission. That kind of thing makes me a little nervous. That whole culture, like I said, I'm enthusiastic about it, but at the same time, I'm a little hesitant to go wearing Sasquatch and putting it on my car and things like that.
Be like worshiping.
I think that anytime that you're looking at something that's of a dark nature, that we all too frequently, every single day, have given these things permission to come into our lives every day.
Right.
And are we creating a problem here with that?
Well, there's a fine line
Okay.
between what the Holy Bible says. And if you notice, I don't call it the Bible. It's the Holy Bible. Because it's God's Word. There's a fine line you can walk and still be a Christian child of Christ. Where some people step across that line, even though they're Christian, they start getting into it and they start going to the part as far as they got to constantly go out and look for Bigfoot. They got to constantly go every weekend. They got to constantly find out what's drawing the Bigfoot to that area. They got to find out everything they can. If you step on that side of that line, and the line is, you're interested in it, yeah, you might have, take my truck for instance. The back of my truck is a logo for my channel. There's a Bigfoot on the left side of my back glass and one on the right side. But there's a fine line I walk. They're not my God. I don't have to know about them. I've seen one when I was 16, and as far as I'm concerned, it could have stopped then. But then I went out and I was interested in them, but they're not an idol to me. And when I say an idol, it means anything that you put before God. God is number one. Number two in my life are my children. Number three, and according to my wife, she shouldn't be number three in my life. I'm supposed to be number three. It's not the way it works. My wife is number three. The rest of my family is number four, and I'm dead last. God comes first. My family comes second. And I come last. Bigfoot, he's about 100 on the list.
So we have to be careful about idling.
Right.
I think that's fair.
I would say, I get what you're trying to say about, the idling and everything.
Right.
And I understand what he's saying. But like with me, I have, like you, same thing is God's always ahead of anything.
Right.
I don't look at Bigfoot as any type of God. More than likely it'd probably be like disagreeing with bear. I don't think they're anything like an angel. I think they're creatures from God that's created. And that's just, we all have our opinions. And I think he created because you've got your rogues that will attack you. You've got ones that will stay away. You've got stories where they've protected. And like what happened here, I believe when I went over to my friend when they had to leave, and she had, sightings of dogmen pups that Bigfoot was supposedly watching. And then we had the tree that fell when me and Wayne was over there. We had the tree that got pushed over, and my friends never heard that before. And Janice was with us over there. To me, when it happened here, when they was gone, we had paranormal. We had paranormal happening. We had possible dogmen. And these things were, I believe they were trying to tell us, because usually, when Wayne and tell you, I'll stand my ground. I'm like, I'm not going to run from you. I'm not going to be scared of you. I'm going to be scared of somebody that's going to be God. I'm not scared of you. Yeah, you can probably kill me, but I'm going to stand my ground. And that night, when I got the crazy feeling of something telling me going, dude, you need to go. And even Wayne was walking back. I guess we need to go in there because something is just telling us to go. And I believe it was, to me, I think it was Bigfoot. I think they were here and they were protecting us from something evil. Because something happened. I don't know what might have triggered it. I don't know if it was Janice. Something triggered something. And to idle Bigfoot, yeah, I want to go out here. I want to find one. Yes, it's exciting. But also in the back of my mind, I know who's watching. Is, as they say, big brothers up there watching. Not God, I'm talking about the government.
Well, that too. Yeah.
We get a body, we say something, you're going to get a knock on the door. It's just inevitable. They don't want people to know about it. And that's why, like he said, we're feet on the ground. We're the ones doing it. But we're also getting targeted too. Just like in anything else. We fight like UFOs. Do you see how now that the government has, where they popped out these videos of something in the sky, the military called it, and now Pentagon's like, oh yes, that's an unidentified flying object. You're coming out with this, why don't you come out with everything else that we already know about? Roswell, the UFO that was down there. To idle Bigfoot, no. Some people might take obsession to it, but having it on there is an exciting thing for us.